High-ranking representatives of various countries attending the 74th session of UN General Assembly were left bewildered when Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan, while addressing the UNGA, laid more stress on justifying terrorism and terrorists rather than promoting the idea of peace. The Prime Minister spoke for about 50 minutes, where he used words like bloodbath and nuclear attack. In an attempt to justify the mindset of terrorists, Imran Khan put special emphasis on psychology of radical Islamic terrorism. Pakistan's Prime Minister's speech was full of factual errors and ironies, as he blatantly lied about Pakistan not housing terror organizations in its territory. Newsweek South Asia brings you a full analysis of Imran Khan's propagandist speech in UNGA. Lies, factual errors and propaganda. Imran Khan's pre-scripted speech at the UN General Assembly included all those ingredients which are required to create a blockbuster fictional drama. Terrorism has emerged as the gravest threat to world peace, but for Pakistan, it seems like a blessing in disguise. According to Imran Khan, or more appropriately, Pakistan's army and ISI, radical Islamic terrorism emerges out of marginalization. So, in other words, Pakistan's Prime Minister tried to convey that Pakistan sponsoring terrorism is not wrong because the terrorists have picked up gun for a noble cause, which is to uplift Islam. By using such statements in UNGA, Imran Khan not only tried to rationalize terrorism, but also continued with his attempts of inciting jihadist violence in Kashmir.
Marginalization leads to radicalization. Some of the people who ended up as militants in Syria and other places were from marginalized Muslim communities. The Prophet lives in our hearts. When he's ridiculed, when he's insulted, it hurts. As we human beings understand one thing: the pain of the heart is far, far, far more hurtful than physical pain. And that's why the Muslims react. And I always thought that if I ever had the stage, I would try and explain this to the world community, especially to the Western community, because having lived in the Western community, people didn't understand this.
His statement that marginalization leads to radicalization does not hold good, because if that was true, then wherever there has been marginalization, there would have been radicalization. But it's not true. In America, in South Africa, in Rhodesia, North Zimbabwe, blacks were marginalized for so long, but they never took to arms. They never took terrorism. Even now, Hispanics are marginalized in USA, but they are not terrorists. Coming home, nearby, closer, Kashmiri Pandits who were hounded out of Kashmir by the jihadi terrorists did not take to arms.
At the United Nations General Assembly is unprecedented and deserves condemnation from everyone. An open support to terrorists with words of encouragement coming from Imran Khan seemed more like a speech of a jihad-promoting leader rather than a national leader. At one stance, Imran Khan called himself a potential terrorist as he talked about a situation where if, in case he comes across an untoward situation, then he won't hesitate in picking up a gun for fighting his cause.
So what do you think the Muslims are thinking right now? If there is a bloodbath, there will be Muslims becoming radicals, not because of Islam, but because of what they will see, that there's no justice when it comes to Muslims. I picture myself. I've been locked up for 55 days. Would I want to live like that? I would pick up a gun.
Imran Khan's mindset is known since long. He is a terrorist, he is a supporter of terrorism, and that is why he earned the name of Taliban Khan. He has been supporting Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan at all forums. His party, provides annual budgetary support to the madrasas run by Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, which are the nurseries for producing jihadi terrorists.
India's first secretary in MEA, Vidisha Maitra, torn into Imran Khan for delivering a hate speech from world's most reputed forum. She further went condemning Pakistan's Prime Minister for using words that doesn't suit a decent gathering and rebuked him for issuing nuclear war threats to its neighbour.
Unfortunately, what we heard today from Prime Minister Imran Khan of Pakistan was a callous portrayal of the world in binary terms. Us versus them, rich versus poor, north versus south, developed versus developing, Muslims versus others. A script that fosters divisiveness at the United Nations, attempts to sharpen differences and stir up hatred are, simply put, hate speech. Rarely has the General Assembly witnessed such misuse, rather abuse, of an opportunity to reflect. Words matter in diplomacy. The invocation of phrases such as pogrom, bloodbath, racial superiority, pick up the gun, and fight to the end reflect a medieval mindset and not a 21st century vision. Prime Minister Imran Khan's threat of unleashing nuclear devastation qualifies as brinksmanship, not statesmanship. Even coming from the leader of a country that has monopolized the entire value chain of the industry of terrorism, Prime Minister Khan's justification of terrorism was brazen and incendiary.
Vidisha Maitra took up Pakistan head-on its claims of not harboring terror groups on its land and demanded that Imran Khan should clarify his position on defending terrorists like Osama bin Laden. India's representative further slammed Pakistan for mainstreaming terrorists.
Mr. President, now that Prime Minister Imran Khan has invited UN observers to Pakistan to verify that there are no militant organizations in Pakistan, the world will hold him to that promise. Here are a few questions that Pakistan can respond to as a precursor to the proposed verification. Can Pakistan confirm the fact that it is home to 130 UN-designated terrorists and 25 terrorist entities listed by the UN as of today? Will Pakistan acknowledge that it is the only government in the world that provides pension to an individual listed by the UN in the Al-Qaeda and Jaish sanctions list? Can Pakistan explain why, here in New York, its premier bank, the Habib Bank, had to shut shop after it was fined millions of dollars over terror financing? Will Pakistan deny that the Financial Action Task Force has put the country on notice for its violations of more than 20 of the 27 key parameters? And finally, would Prime Minister Khan deny to the city of New York that he was an open defender of Osama bin Laden? Mr. President, having mainstreamed terrorism and hate speech, Pakistan is trying to play its wild card as the newfound champion of human rights.
While Imran Khan seems to be obsessed with propagating anti-India rhetoric, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, without even mentioning Pakistan's name in the speech at UNGA, sent strong message to terror-sponsoring country and its allies by calling out the international community to stand united against terrorism.